woman never belongs to you. It's just your turn.
Rich guys and hot guys get cheated on like everybody else. You lost your edge, she lost attraction. That's how it works. Don't just give her your attention. Make her earn it.
What'd you think she was gonna do? Tell you she cheated?
Live from Philadelphia, your man, Donovan Sharpe.
What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the 508th edition of TSR Live. We are presented by Gorilla Mind Rush, the absolute best supplement I have ever used for productivity, focus, and energy. I use it all the time, guys. It is non-habit forming, and there is absolutely no crash. It's kind of like eating 500 grams of carbs and sugar every day, but then not getting fat. It's crazy. I don't know how the Gorilla guys figured this out, but they clearly have. So go to donovensharpe.com/Gorilla Mind Rush to get your hands on a few bottles while supporting the show. Put the link in the chat. It is also in the description. It is good to have you guys in today. Hope everybody had a safe and restful Labor Day weekend. I took a few days off myself to do a little bit of catching up, work a little bit more on finishing up my book, maybe do a little bit of housekeeping with the show, get things nice and tightened up and ready for the fall. It is Friday, September 6th, 2019. We are streaming live to YouTube and Periscope. So however you're watching, wherever you're watching, thank you for making the Sharpe Reality Live a part of your day. A special thanks goes out to William P. with his $10 donation. I sent that in a few days back. If you'd like to support the show by dropping a donation, go to streamlabs.com/Donovan Sharpe and the number 1. I'll put the link in the chat. It is also in the description. Later on in the show, I'm going to discuss something I never thought I would ever discuss, yet somehow I'm not surprised that I'm going to be discussing it, and that is an 83-year-old woman who is still gobbling bananas. No, gentlemen, I did not stutter. I said 83 years old and still sleeping around. You cannot make this stuff up, so make sure you stick around for that particular breakdown. That should be fun. But we're going to start today's episode with an article that was submitted by Monica D, entitled "The Worst Double Standards I've Ever Experienced on a Date." So a big thanks goes out to Monica from all the way out in Australia. Now, the article is about a woman who went out on a date with a guy, slept with him, but then wondered why he didn't want to commit to her. So, of course, she cried double standard and all the other typical useless nonsense that women like to cry about when they are exposed as the banana gobblers that they are. So let's go ahead and get started here. She says, quote, "My date with Pablo was fantastic. I met him through a friend of mine, and he'd only been in Australia for 2 weeks when he asked me out. He really knew how to show a girl a good time. We went out for drinks, then dinner, and then a walk on the beach where he told me all about his family and dreams for the future. I thought he was just divine, and I loved his accent. It helped that he was also a gorgeous-looking man." The last thing she said right there, he was also a gorgeous-looking man. That is the only thing she cared about. She didn't give a damn about his family or his dreams or his dreams for the future. And to be honest with you, how could she? She'd only knew him for a few hours. So now the question becomes, well, why would she act like she cared about something she really didn't care about? Well, this is simple. She put up the banana gobbler shields, and women, listen, girls, women, they like to do this all the time. They would have us believe that the reason they had a one-night stand with pick a random guy is because she loves his energy. She loves his aura, right? Girls will never say, well, he was hot, I was horny, and that's why I slept with him a half an hour after I met him. Because they know it makes them look and sound promiscuous. So they point out a trait or a characteristic that has absolutely nothing to do with a sexual attractiveness or a sexual allure in a feeble attempt to make us think that they did something immoral for reasons that are moral. This is why I always advise my guys. Make sure you give a girl what's called plausible deniability when trying to get her back to your place. Because if you just say to her, hey, let's go back to my place and bang, she's going to be a little bit hesitant to do so, if not bounce on you altogether, because you're talking to her like she's promiscuous. You are addressing her as a banana gobbler. Now, you guys both know that she is promiscuous. You know what's on her mind. But in a woman's mind, if neither acknowledges the obvious, then it must not be true. So when you say, hey, I have an idea, let's go back to my place so I can show you my video collection about underwater basket weaving, she's going to say, OMG, that's a great idea. I've always wanted to learn about underwater basket weaving. You both know that you gonna wax that ass as soon as you toss your keys onto the coffee table. But so long as you don't explicitly and literally suggest it, she can tell herself and her friends, well, one minute we were watching a fascinating video about weaving baskets underwater, and before I knew it, I woke up in his bed this morning. I guess it just happened. By going out of your way to make sure that a girl doesn't feel like a slut, you give her permission to act like one without actually calling herself one. Anyway, this woman wanted to sleep with Pablo the minute she laid eyes on him, and it had nothing to do with his family or his dreams. This is typical snowflaking. She continues, he couldn't stop kissing me. Literally from the moment we left the restaurant, he was all over me. Not in a sleazy way, because I was so attracted to him, I didn't mind. But he'd be kissing my face, my arms, my hands, my neck. Let me switch slides here. My neck, she says. There we go. He was just an incredibly sensual man, and the whole night felt like this amazing seduction. It's usually my policy, she says, to never go home with a man until I'd had at least 2 or 3 dates. Especially a man like Pablo, who wasn't like anybody I'd ever dated before. Oh boy, here we go. More snowflaking. More snowflaking. It's her policy not to sleep with a man until she's had at least 2-3 dates. I'm calling bullshit. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the only one who rolled my eyes when she talked about her policy, because anybody who watches this show can spot that immediately. Okay, you guys, I often call you guys the most educated audience in the manosphere. This is for a very good reason. Okay, now there may be some women watching my show thinking, well, how do you know this isn't her policy? She could be telling the truth. No, she's not. And the reason we know she's not is because she felt the need to tell us. And the reason she told us is because she did the opposite of what she said she normally does. Women do this all the time, guys. Girls will drop their panties 45 minutes after we meet them, and then they'll say, well, I don't normally do this, and then they expect us to believe it. Girls who sleep with guys on the first date do it all the time. This is why it's so easy for them to do it all the time. So here's lesson number 1. Never believe a woman who says she has a policy or a rule about anything. When they say this out loud, it quite literally means the opposite. If a girl has a rule about not sleeping with guys on the first date, it means she sleeps with guys on the first date. A woman who says she has a policy against sleeping with married men does indeed sleep with married men. Tatiana, you guys know, those of you guys who have followed me, you guys know all about Tatiana, the Ukrainian or Russian girl who played me like a fiddle when I was in Vegas. She told me that she had rules against sleeping with guys on the first date. We were at her place. We're in bed fooling around. Things are getting hot and heavy. And in my mind, the booty was a foregone conclusion. But every time I tried to slide off those panties, she said, no, please, Donovan, don't tempt me. I don't want to break my rule, she said. So I told her, listen, rules were made to be broken. And my hand to the man, guys, she said this to me. My hand to the man. I never thought of it that way. The next morning, she said, it hurts to pee. What did you do to me? And I said, well, that's what you get for breaking your rule. And I put that in air quotes. She absolutely loved it. The point is that this chick is an easy first day lay, and we all know it regardless of what she said. Let's continue. But after having maybe a few too many wines and then succumbing to his seductive ways, I agreed to go back to his apartment. He told me his flatmate was up the coast, so we had the whole place to ourselves. How convenient. He poured me a glass of champagne, but before I could even take a sip, we were kissing. Then he took my hand and we went to his bedroom. The sex was out of this world amazing. He was so loving and attentive, and I just found him so attractive. What she just did here was exactly what the 23-year-old that I talked about in episode 498, who cheated on her boyfriend with his best friend and ended up pregnant, doesn't know who the father is, which is putting herself in the passive role, which divorces her from any and all culpability in terms of what happened. She had sex with the guy, but never once did she say, I got horny and I wanted to have sex, so we had sex. No. Instead, she blames it on, number 1, first having too much to drink. Then she said she succumbed to his seductive ways, as if to imply that had it not been for her drinking too much and Pablo's seductive ways, she would never have slept with him, even though she went back to his place and were kissing before she could even take her first sip of champagne that he poured her. This is why we always laugh at women when they cry double standard. This is why we all roll our eyes when they tell us that their past banana gobblery doesn't matter. And it's the same reason they're always trying to cover it up. It's the same reason why they just never admit to being a banana gobbler simply because they wanted to gobble bananas. This is the same reason why they always divide their real notch counts by 25. It's the same reason why they're always dishonest about their past. It's because it matters. And women know it matters. This is why they're always trying to cover their banana gobbling tracks. Women like to pretend that it doesn't matter, that their pasts don't matter until it does matter, which is exactly what happened to this chick, as we will see here, when Pablo makes the right decision about her based on her actions and not her policy. After we made love, she says, we had a shower together and got back into bed. That's when he devastated me. He told me that he'd had a great night, but he wouldn't see me again after that night, and I couldn't believe his reason. He thought I'd given myself away too quickly and too easily, and he didn't like that about a woman. He wanted a date he could respect, and he said he couldn't respect women who are too easy. I was horrified, she said. He made me feel worthless. Yes, I'd slept with him on our first date, and I'd only done that once before in my life. Of course you have. But what about the double standards, she asks. I was sleeping with him on the first date, but he was also sleeping with me on our first date. I tried to explain how unfair he was, but he didn't listen and didn't care. I got out of bed right away and got dressed. There was no way I was going to spend the rest of the night with him. I told him I thought that he should be ashamed of making me feel bad and that I wished I'd never slept with him or met him. He just looked at me with a smirk on his face and said, "Goodbye. Have a nice life." I'd never been so humiliated, she says. What women fail to realize is that they are a part of this, quote, double standard when it comes to sex. They're not attracted to men who have very little experience with women sexually, but are very attracted to men who have a lot of experience with women sexually. Ladies, that's not a social construct. This is biology. Women don't want men that other women don't want. This is Red Pill 101. This is Seduction 101. No matter how much women want this to be different, this is not the way it is. And because of their biological directive to be with sexually pre-selected men, they indirectly help to create this unfair double standard between men and women when it comes to sexual partners. Now, that said, we know that whatever sexual standard applies to women, the complete opposite applies to men. This is how it is across the board, guys. Virginal women are extremely valuable. Virginal men are extremely not. Every man a woman sleeps with lowers her value, while every woman a man sleeps with increases his value. Dominant men are sexually attractive. Dominant women are sexually gross. The list goes on, but you guys get the picture. But here's the thing. Women do know this stuff, okay? They know these things. They're acutely aware of these things, but then they want to act all scandalized when a man actually holds her to the true biological standard, which is while men take advantage of a lack of sexual temperance from a woman, they do not respect it. Men of value, which Pablo obviously is, do not commit to women who give it up on the first date. That's all there is to it. Now, we're certainly going to try to tap that ass, right? We're men. It's what we do. And if we don't at least try, we lose the respect of women for many, many reasons. And I talked about this, pardon me, and I talked about this and not committing to females who give it up on the first date in episode 429. Take a listen. My good friend Paul all the time, right? I tell him, dude, if girls want me, if girls want my commitment, they absolutely cannot give in. Because I'm going to try to fuck you, right? I'm not afraid to make the first move. I'm not afraid of rejection. If I want to fuck a girl, I'm going to try. And if you let me fuck you, great. We'll have great sex and it'll all be good. But understand, the moment my cock enters your body on the first date, the chances of you being my girlfriend are zero. I'll continue to fuck you. I'll let you come over, have a few drinks, bench you over my couch once, maybe twice a week. But if I fuck you on the first date, there is no way I am making you my main chick. There is no way I am committing to you or becoming exclusive with you. Trying to fuck a girl on the first date is the one true way to find out whether or not she's a slut. She can say whatever she wants, guys. She can act however she wants. But if she gives up the ass on the first date, she is put into the slut category, which means all she gets from me is a dick and the occasional whiskey shot. Now, just because she doesn't fuck you on the first date doesn't mean she's not a slut. A lot of girls doing this these days, especially women who are past the wall. So if she doesn't fuck you on the first date, it doesn't mean she's not a slut, but it does keep her off of the side chick list or the fuck buddy list, at least for a while anyway. So again, the fourth and most important reason you should always try to sleep with a girl on the first date, where you should always try to fuck her, it lets you know right off the bat whether or not she's a slut. This woman learned the hard way that men who are worth a damn do not commit to women who give it up too soon. He said that himself. He said that he said that she gave herself away too quickly and easily, and that he didn't like that in a woman. Then women who hear about these stories asks, well, why did he sleep with her if he said he didn't like that in a woman? And the fact that they always ask this question proves, once again, that women think that a man's sexual desire is also a man's desire to commit. Of course Pablo liked that she was an easy lay. He likes that in women he uses for a one-night stand, not women he commits to. So here's lesson number 2, ladies. If you don't want a guy to put you in the fuck friend category, and by the way, the friend zone for women isn't the same as the friend zone for men. If a woman says, well, Kevin put me in the friend zone, it means Kevin's banging me every night, but not committing. He's not committing to me. This is sex with no strings attached. The friend zone for women is the fuck friend zone. It is sex without commitment. For guys, the friend zone is commitment without the sex. Anyway, ladies, if you don't want a guy to put you into the fuck friend zone, then do not sleep with him on the first date. If the guy you're on a date with is a guy you really like, if he's a guy you could potentially see having a relationship with, then understand that if you sleep with him, that is never going to happen. If you sleep with him on the first date, it's never going to happen. And if it does happen, if he does commit to you, even though you slept with him on the first date, then he's not a man of value. Because men of value do not commit to women who are banana gobblers. Why? Because they don't have to. Men of value are spoiled for choice, and they're going to choose women who choose not to give him the booty on the first date, and that's all there is to it. Well, what if he ghosts on me because I'm not sleeping with him? Then that means that he wasn't looking for a relationship in the first place. It means that he was just looking for easy sex. And if you have a problem with that, it means you weren't looking for anything serious either. You can't have it both ways, ladies. You can't sleep with a bunch of men in demand and act all butthurt when they don't respect you or make you their girlfriends. Everything has a cost. If you want commitment, you need to refrain from sleeping with these men for as long as you can. If he's looking for a relationship, he will stick around. If he's looking for easy sex, he'll bounce, or at least he'll keep you around while he's banging other girls. So ladies, you guys can bitch and moan all you want about what's fair and what's not. Mother Nature doesn't give a damn about how you feel. Men are biologically hardwired to look upon promiscuity with disgust and act accordingly. Guys, let me take this off here. Guys, I have released my 5-part, 7-hour audio course on how to build a quality woman from the ground up to the public. This is 7 hours of rock solid intel on how to build a female brick by brick into the kind of woman you want, need, and even come to respect. Part 1 deals with the vetting process. I teach you how to select the right candidate by telling you what to look for and, more importantly, what not to look for in a woman. Part 2 deals with the training process. I take you step by step through the procedures that prepare a female for what it's like to be in a relationship with you. I educate you on setting the tone early in order to reduce and possibly even eliminate any and all behaviors that could potentially cause trouble in your relationship. In part 3, I will instruct you how to set and enforce boundaries and expectations. I teach you how to be direct when communicating your expectations in such a way that leaves nothing to interpretation. Part 4 covers the sexual side of your relationship. How to dominate her sexually, how you can make yourself unforgettable to her even if you're not the most well-endowed lover she's ever been with, and the importance of deep conversion game to dominate her body and her mind will all be discussed extensively. And finally, Part 5 will teach you how not to sabotage your relationship, how to maintain it, and what to do on the off chance that your woman gets out of line or out of pocket. Now, it is very important for you guys to understand that this is a course that is based on personal experience. I'm not giving you guys hypotheticals or theories. I'm not telling you guys a bunch of stories about things that I've heard or things that I've seen. No. These are techniques that I use in my own relationship to this day. And anyone who follows me has seen that my techniques work, and they work very well. Here's something else to understand. This is not a cheat code or a magic bullet, guys. This isn't a make a woman your submissive sex slave by using this one weird trick, or how to make any woman obey you with these 3 simple phrases. That's not what this is. So if that's what you're looking for, keep your money, because that's not what I'm offering here. To get your woman to look, act, and submit like Devin does, that takes time. It takes hard work. And it takes consistently, and most of all, it takes maintenance. Listen, just because you complete the course and do everything right doesn't mean you're out of the woods. There's always maintenance involved. Now, if you are willing to do what's necessary to put yourself in the best position to have a rock solid red pill relationship, go to donovansharpe.com/courses. I'm putting a link in the chat right now, and it is also in the description. And for a very limited time, you're going to get 60% off the regular price. That discount ends this Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So head on over to donovansharpe.com/courses to get your hands on the only relationship guide that actually works by the only man who has actually shown that it works. Okay, let's change gears here. Let me take a swig of water here as we change gears. Things are about to get real, guys. I got a Facebook video submitted to me by Chad B. So a big thanks goes out to Chad for the next topic. The video is an episode of Extreme Love, which is a series that documents strange and unusual romantic relationships. But Chad's video didn't discuss relationships. Let me bring this up here so that we can all see this. There it is. Okay. Excellent. Chad's video didn't discuss relationships. Oh, no. The star of this particular episode is an 83-year-old woman by the name of Hattie who lives in New York City. Now, there are plenty of women in their 80s who live in NYC, but the difference between Hattie and hopefully most other women her age is that she is on Tinder and she regularly gets dates. That's right, guys. This elderly female actually gets matches, dates, and hookups on Tinder on the regular. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. Anyway, what you'll see is that despite her advanced age, she still has the traits, the characteristics, and the habits of the typical banana-gobbling American female. Hattie is the best example and living proof that women grow up, but that women grow old, but they never grow up. This woman is 83 years old, and she is still sleeping around. More importantly, the fact that a female who is less than 2 decades away from being 100 years old is still getting sex from men tells us just how thirsty and pathetic men have become here in 2019. If men will sleep with an 83-year-old woman, they will sleep with literally anything. So let's go ahead and get started here, guys. I'm going to bring up the video. We're going to break this down in the customary Donovan Sharpe way. Get your barf bags ready, guys. That's all I can tell you.
I'm on Tinder to find young lovers. I'm comfortable. Not wearing underwear, though. We'll meet for a drink. If it seems like it's going to be good, we'll go right up to my apartment. How are you? And we make love.
Yeah.
My name is Hattie, and I'm 83 years old.
Oh, my God.
I think I know more about males' genitalia than any doctor. I may not know more than a gay man, but I do. I know about guys. Yeah. Okay. Hattie, 83. Fascinating older beauty. Is seeking a steady, younger friend, lover for a shared life of adventure and passion. No pro-Trump and no players.
Are you serious with this? She's telling men what she does and doesn't want? Of course she is, guys. Men still sleep with her. So she makes a list of requirements for them in order to be with her. Again, guys, this is how pathetic men have become. We have an 83-year-old woman filtering out Trump supporters and players. Yes, that happened. This is the proof, guys. Only in America, pardon me, can there be a female in her 80s being selective about their choices in the sexual marketplace. Jesus Christ, man.
Do you only date younger men?
Well, first of all, most men my age aren't around anymore. Older men are worried about aging, and that makes sense. I'm worried about aging. Everyone is worried about aging. But a younger guy is not thinking aging. They're not afraid. Well, sometimes they'll lose an erection because something goes wrong, but...
No, they don't lose an erection because something goes wrong, Hattie. Okay? They lose an erection because you're 83. Do you guys see this? Hattie is still the typical solipsistic American woman. The truth is staring her right in the face, and she still denies it. Men are losing erections because the body of a woman in her 80s is unsightly. This is obvious. Yet, here she is saying, well, they lose an erection because something goes wrong. Again, guys, this is how women are. They deny the truth even when it's obvious to themselves and everyone around them. Let's continue.
Mostly they're not concerned that they're not going to be hard and they're not going to be able to deliver for the woman. And younger men, I mean, a while now, they get off on getting a woman off. Very different from when I was younger.
This was back when men were men, guys. When men didn't give a damn about a woman's needs in bed. And guess what? Women stayed in pocket. They stayed feminine. But as soon as the sexual revolution and feminism hit, all of a sudden, a woman's mindset went from, well, what can I do for my man to what can my man do for me? What can men do for me? And as a result, we've got multiple generations of women who do nothing but complain about what they don't get. The more women get, the more they want. It is never enough.
I've been on Tinder for about 8 months. I like the ones with open smiles. And that look healthy. See, now this guy says he's 57. He's probably 26. But he purposely does that. Now this guy, he's with his mother.
You see this? You see this, guys? An 83-year-old laughs about the fact that a man still lives with his mother. Now, we can all laugh and chuckle at this situation, but there's truth here. Women do not respect, nor are they sexually aroused to adult men who live with their mothers, no matter how old they are, guys. So all you guys out there looking for my help, looking to book consultations, don't come at me with Donovan. How can I build a harem when I live at home with my mom? I'm going to refund your money, and I'm going to tell you to come back when you have a place of your own.
So I don't think that that's a good idea. Older men, a lot of their life's work has already been achieved. I love younger men because they're in the middle of an achievement, of a goal. There's the excitement of creating. I'm still creating, and I'm still moving forward on my life goal, and it's exciting. Oh, look, he came up. Okay, so let's see what he looks like. I love.
See that? She's selective. She says, let's see what he looks like. At 83 years old, she still has to see what he looks like. This is women, guys.
Giving orgasms. I love getting them.
Ugh.
So now I have a steady stream. So I didn't mean to put it that way. I have a steady.
Do you see how she just made a joke? I have a steady stream, right? A steady stream. Again, she can't get her mind out of the gutter. 83 years old. Still acting like a giggly little teenager who just discovered dick.
Selection of young men. This tall guy from Ecuador, he was attracted to me. So I said, okay, let's go. So we go to my apartment. And then after I say to him, by the way, how old are you? And he says, 19. Oh. And I didn't know he was 19 because I probably wouldn't have gone to bed with him if I knew it.
There's the snowflaking, guys. There's the snowflaking. Still at it at 83 years old. She wants us to believe that had she known his age, she wouldn't have slept with him, which is interesting. Because she asked him afterwards how old she was. She wanted to gobble his banana, but wants us to think that she has standards, but didn't ask his age until after the dirty deed was done to give us what I like to call disingenuous 2020 hindsight. Girls do this all the time, guys. They say things like, well, if I had known he was married, I would never have hooked up with him. Or, I wouldn't have slept with him if I knew he was a misogynist. Get out of here with that nonsense. Banana gobblers gobble first. Banana gobblers gobble bananas first, then they ask questions. This is how they all do it, guys.
Okay, so my feet are in, and I lie back. This provides circulation for everything, and it takes all the stress off. That's it. That's it. When I was younger, all I wanted to do is get married and have a family. My husband and I, former husband, had a wonderful sex life, and when the children went off to college, a lot of the dynamics broke down. So we got divorced, and then he remarried, and I thought, and I'll remarry, and it didn't work that way, but I was horny, and from that point on.
See that? Listen, she kept it real. See, at this point, she's like, listen, man, I was horny. At least she's owning her horniness.
I was 55, and I put an ad in the paper. We didn't have the internet. And then I got a series of lovers, one after the other. They left their names on my answering machine, and I auditioned them. And I had a lot of dates and met a lot of men. But all the while, I was praying, this one's going to go to bed with me and say, I want to be with you forever. I wanted to keep having sex all the time, but I didn't have a resident. The emotional side was bad. I would cry. I would say, I so much want that person. And I was carrying on like that for decades. And I would get depression.
There you have it, ladies. There you have it. The emotional toll that the carousel takes is real. Women are not mentally, physically, or psychologically equipped to sleep around. Hattie just told us what we've always known here in the manosphere, which is that sleeping around is not good for women. This is why 1 in 4 women are on antidepressants. This is simple math, ladies. You can deny it all you want to, but just because you deny it doesn't mean it's not true. Listen to Hattie's words. She got depression.
It may never happen. I may die before it happens.
She may die before it happens, she says. This is how delusional she is, guys. This is how delusional women are. This woman is in her 80s and says, I may die before it happens. She has no idea that ship sailed 6 decades ago. Yet, here she is, still holding out hope that she'll find the one. I'm not trying to be mean-spirited here, but Hattie, sweetie, you are going to die before it happens. Listen, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm sure you're a wonderful woman. Okay? But not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
So I came up with a psychological surgical procedure, and it's called a heartectomy. And what you do is you cut the connection between your heart and your and then fine.
She didn't perform this procedure, gentlemen. The procedure was performed on her. She's been used by so many men who wanted nothing to do with her outside of sex that she is now incapable of feeling emotion when it comes to sex. Her inability to pair bond happened to her. She didn't decide this on her own. It was decided for her.
Do you like this? You like it, sweetheart? I'm ready. I'm comfortable. I'm not wearing underwear, though.
Oh, my God.
Okay, I'm all right now.
Tell me about the date you have coming up tonight.
His name is Sean. We'll eat. We'll talk. We'll probably kiss. We'll see. But it's sweet. Sweetie, bye, sweetheart. Bye, honey. I'll be coming back. And I'll probably give him a massage, and he's going to give me a massage. So there is the intimacy. Whether or not something will happen, I don't really know.
Oh, Jesus. Oh.
first time. Have you ever done it before?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I'm only a mother. What should I know? But anyway, darling, so we're standing in front of the restaurant, and there's this guy who I asked a bunch of questions. So I said, are you married? He said, no. I said, are you gay? He said, no. I said, are you an addict? He said, no. I said, will you go on a date with me? He said,
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. An 83-year-old woman is screening out men. Oh, you're married? That's going to be a no for me. This just blows me away, guys. I am in utter shock. And I'm a red pill guy, right? I know how women are and all women are like that, but I am in utter shock that a woman this age is screening men. Again, this is the state of the sexual marketplace. The average 27-year-old male in this part of the world will take what he can get. He doesn't care if she's married. He doesn't care if she likes girls. Doesn't care if she's a drug addict. If she shows interests, then he'll take it. But a female senior citizen gets to be selective.
yes. So here I am.
Sounds like a fun date.
So are you ever embarrassed about me?
No.
That means yes, by the way. And I know I didn't have the screen exactly the way I should have had it. Her face is kind of blown out, washed out. But yeah, she's absolutely embarrassed by mom. It is what it is.
Once you told me you were in a dorm at NYU, and that I thought was pushing the limit.
The NYU guys, right.
NYU guys, as in plural, as in more than one. Again, guys, this is the thirst. This is how pathetic guys are these days. You've got college-age dudes banging senior citizens. Unreal, man. Unreal.
This is actually one of my first experiences with it.
Oh, now there's Sean snowflaking. One of my first experiences. Nah, man. He's trying to make this sound like it's a fetish or a fantasy. Sean is thirsty. And he's not a bad-looking guy, but dude, why in the world would you sleep with an 83-year-old woman?
Older woman. I would say this is a fantasy just because I haven't been too in tune with the older crowd and such. But yeah, I would consider it a fantasy.
Yeah, he tells himself that to make us all believe that he could have younger women, right? But he is choosing to sleep with 83-year-old women. This isn't it is a choice. Somebody get a hold of Sean and give him my website. Please, for heaven's sakes.
How are you? Good to see you.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
One man for my bed, one man for my everything. Didn't happen.
Did you guys just catch that? One man for my bed, one man for my everything, and it didn't happen. She just described alpha fucks, beta bucks, gentlemen. She wanted both in one man, right? It didn't happen, so now she's looking for one man for each. This is exactly what girls do these days. You are either going to be used for her sexual needs or you're going to be used for all of her non-sexual needs.
Yeah.
So I miss making love.
Which is crazy because you're an amazing person. So yeah, somebody missed out. Most I like about Hattie was her bubbling personality and how genuine she is. She's just a people person. The date went well. It's an interesting dynamic coming from what I'm used to. But, you know, all in all, I would say it was pretty cool. It was a good experience. She's definitely an interesting person. You have no choice but to run into Hattie. This was fun. This was fun. Definitely.
Watch this.
Good night, Hattie.
Look how she looks. Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Sean is an absolute darling. So he's a very sexual man. I'm a very sexual woman. And there's no sense of whether or not that will ever develop in that. I'll probably have him massage me, and I'll massage him. And who knows? But to be this At 80, there's no ego involved. I'm delighted. I look in the mirror. Woo! Okay, Hattie, get out there and let young women and young men and people say, if that's aging, it's okay with me. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to claim a new way of aging.
So there you have it, guys. An 83-year-old woman who has more options on the dating market than the average 38-year-old man. This is what feminism has created, guys. And Hattie just verified multiple red pill truths here. Number one, women grow old, but they never grow up. Number two, women with options are always going to be selective no matter how old they are. Number three, women deny the truth. Hattie's 83, but could not admit out loud that men lose those erections because she's 83. Number four, women are not sexually attracted to men who live with their mothers. Number five, there are emotional consequences to sleeping around. Number six, women never realize that they've run out of time to find a man who loves them as much as she loves him. Number seven, women think they decide when they can no longer feel emotion when it comes to sex, when in actuality, it's notches number 4 through 588. Wait. Hang on, guys. Okay. Let's try that again. Number 7. Women think they decide when they can no longer feel emotion when it comes to sex, when in actuality, it's notches number 4 through 591. Boy, those strains just sneak up on women, don't they? And finally, number 8. Males are more thirsty and pathetic than they have ever been in history. I don't make the rules, ladies. Okay? Hattie is in her 80s and is telling us with her words and her actions what we've been telling you guys for the last few years. As much as we can all laugh and chuckle and patronize Hattie by telling her, well, good for you, girl, still getting your groove on at that age. No woman, and I mean 0 women, 0 women want to end up as an 83-year-old hoe trolling for random dick on Tinder. And if women want to end up like Hattie, keep doing what you're doing. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.